What's good, folks? It's your boy Isaac, aka Polo, aka Young Polo. This is going to be the official start of my YouTube channel called Polo Talk Sports because it's going to consist of your boy Polo talking sports. Crazy how that works. Now, if you haven't heard me say it before, I'll be saying this in every video. When it comes to all things sports, I am an expert, especially in football, basketball, and soccer. But I'll get into the baseball, hockey, all the other sports when I really become an expert in overall sports. But for now, most of the content is going to be around those three sports. Now, this video is going to be a part of a series called Polo's Crazy Takes. And the takes might sound crazy, but the whole video is going to be me stating facts and me letting you know why these takes really aren't that crazy. And let's see if I can't change a few minds about how crazy these takes are. Now, this first video is going to be a hoop debate. It's going to be Kobe over Jordan. You heard it here first. It's the GOAT debate, but it's Kobe versus Jordan. I know it's Kobe versus LeBron is the popular one, but I don't think LeBron ever reached the level of consistent dominance that Kobe or MJ had, and let me explain to you why. Now, I know MJ is widely regarded as the GOAT, but I just think the Bulls from the 90s, from 92 to 98-ish, that whole run that the Bulls made, they were like the Warriors of like 2015 to 2019. They were just a booking for the final every year, and they were just super dominant. Now, I get MJ was by far the best player on that team, but you don't build championship teams with just one player. And a lot of those players on that team had championship DNA. And let me explain what I mean. Dennis Rodman. So he got to the NBA, drafted in 1986, drafted to the Pistons. And on his tenure with the Pistons, 1988, they lost in the finals 4-3 to the Lakers. He was averaging 9 rebounds a game. 1989, they swept the Lakers 4-0. 1990, they beat the Blazers 4-1. He was averaging 12.5 rebounds and 10 rebounds in the series in 1989, the final series. Now, after that, they did lose to the Bulls in the playoffs in 91-92. That's when, obviously, Jordan was finally able to overcome the bad boy Pistons. And during those years, he was averaging 19 and 18 rebounds a game in the playoffs. Now, he spent 2 years on the Spurs when he was averaging 17 points a game for 2 seasons. And when he got to the Bulls in 95, he averaged 15, 16, and 15 rebounds a game in their finals that they won, the last 3 finals that Jordan won. Now, Dennis Rodman is widely regarded as the best rebounder of all time. And another point of emphasis is that if you have the best rebounder of all time, and Jordan being the scorer that he is, obviously he was a great defender as well. But let's not get it twisted. Jordan was really just a scorer on one end of the floor. And when you have the best rebounder of all time, that gets you extra possessions with offensive rebounds on the offensive end. And obviously it limits the opposition's possessions with the defensive rebounds. Dennis Rodman was really the greatest rebounder of all time, which definitely helped Jordan's finals runs. Next, we got Horace Grant. Now, he, by any means, he's not an enforcer, or he is an enforcer, but he's not, he's a role player for sure. I wouldn't say he contributed all that much, but just the fact that he had championship DNA. Let me explain. So he was drafted to the Bulls in 88. Then he was there for the first couple finals runs, and then he was traded to Orlando in 1994. What did Orlando do that year? They went to the finals and lost to the Rockets. He also won a championship in 2001 when he was traded to the Lakers, and he bounced around. He ended up back on the Lakers in 2004. What did they do? They're back in the finals, and they lost that year to the Pistons. So without Jordan is what I'm saying. These two players were part of championship caliber teams. Next, we got Steve Kerr. Yes, sir, the Warriors coach. This is a hometown favorite. I know this one's going to hit. Obviously, he was a part of the Bulls 94 to 98. He was the one who hit the shot, the infamous shot in 97 to win Game 6. And after his tenure with the Bulls, he was traded. He was on the Spurs. San Antonio, he won another finals in 1999 and in 2003 with the Spurs. Win the final, yeah. And so another those 3 players specifically are kind of the emphasis of the championship DNA, and I just want to compare them to, in the next video I'll highlight the Lakers rosters in 2009 and 10, which is the emphasis for the GOAT debate, because all championships are not created equal. Obviously Kobe had Shaq for the first couple finals, but for I feel like that's overlooked a lot because Shaq, as dominant as a player he was, he needed to be around another great player to win a championship. He had a chance with Penny back in '94, I think it was, when they lost to the Hawks. But, Penny just wasn't there. He wasn't at the level of Kobe in terms of IQ and in terms of leadership. Because Shaq, what he really needed was another alpha, another leader to keep him in shape and to keep pushing him, which is part of Kobe's greatness. That he was similar to MJ's quality, that MJ was a leader. I don't necessarily know if MJ's style of leadership brought out the best in his teammates or if his teammates were just made. A lot of people say MJ made Pippen, and I guess you could say that, but at the same time, I would say Scottie Pippen was a point forward, a great defender, better defender than MJ for a lot of the time, and he was the one that locked down Magic for that one championship. And, Pippen doesn't get enough credit with the style of play. He was really the point guard of that team and the best defender in a lot of those series, which doesn't get enough credit. When Kobe was in 2009 and 10, and I'll get into this more in the next video, he was by far the best defender on that team. You could make the argument for Ron Artest, I guess, but Kobe would lock down. He would really lock people down. I think it's 10 to 12 time all defense. I'll pull up the stats in the next video. But the difference is, in 2009 and 10, that Lakers roster, you could say the argument that Kobe made Pippen, where Kobe definitely made Gasol. Gasol was not an all-star caliber player without Kobe. And I don't even know, Pippen has got to be a top 30 player of all time. And Gasol's definitely not he didn't make the 75th anniversary team, and he definitely shouldn't have. He's not all that. He was a great role player, but as a second star or as a second best player of a team is not that good. Take away Kobe from those Lakers teams in 2009 and 10, where he had two very impressive championships versus a super team in the Celtics, and obviously a Magic team that you could say wasn't that stiff of competition, but it was really supposed to be LeBron and the Cavs, but he choked in the playoffs that year, as he's done a couple times, where he was supposed to make it to the finals, supposed to be the infamous LeBron versus Kobe in the finals matchup that never ended up happening, because LeBron didn't hold up his end of the bargain.